Hi everyone, I'm the strategist and my name is Victor Nkere. It's great to have you once again today on another conversation on my YouTube community. Like I said earlier, this is beyond a channel, it's a community, all right? And I'm so excited to have you here. And this is not one of the cliches that people say, when you come to their YouTube channel, right? When you say, oh, I'm excited to have you back, things like that. No, from the depth of my heart, I am so excited to, have you here. All right. I don't know if you've seen the last video I did, right? I'd like you to go watch it. I'd like you to go watch it. It's something that, you'll probably, find usable. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be sharing usable things here, on my channel, right, or my community. Okay, so today, I was listening to a certain message by Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo, and I mean, just to put it out there, I respect him a lot. I like him, I like his ideology. His teachings are very solid, in terms of relationship. And I think that, Pastor Kingsley's teaching has pretty much, helped a lot of single people, not just single people, also married people navigate through relationships, right? So I believe that his teachings, right, it's really transformational, And today I'd want to pick on something that I had, heard in passing. I think it was teaching. I think that video was 7 mistakes, single ladies make, in a relationship, or like when talking to a guy. Or I think there's another one for the men, 7 mistakes that, single men make and things like that. There was a point where he was bordering on the fact that, I think it was the ladies one I had watched first, was bordering on the fact that, I think it was saying something around availability, don't appear easily available, why that is a given. I understand that it's because the idea with rarity is that the idea with value is rarity. So if something is very available, it loses its value over time. Even somewhere in the Bible says, if you continue to calm thy feet in thy neighbor's house, something around that is going to result into a lot of trivialization, and you lose your importance, you lose your dignity, you lose your worth, right? So you want to ensure that you're not always, you're not always available. I mean, diamond, you can't just go pick diamond, right? And gold is not always available, right? But all those available things, you can just see it everywhere. All right, so the idea with value is that it is rare. It's not easily available. Now, there was a part, where he was talking about, don't call too often, things like that. I think somewhere around don't call too often. I share a slightly different opinion, because it feels like there are so many rules in this whole relationship thingy. A lot of rule keeping system. Don't do this, don't call too early. When he sends a message by 7 a.m. in the morning, don't return it until 1 p.m. in the afternoon, so that he will just think you're too busy. And Solomon Buchi, my brother said something one time, and we had even talked about it. And I said I agree, because all of these, I'm not going to reply your text after 3 hours just to appear busy, so that, I keep my dignity. I mean, if I'm into you, I'm into you, right? And I think that lots of Pastor Kingsley's messages on relationship pretty much is really for majority. When I say majority, there's a minority, there's a level of clarity that you have. You've got to look at some certain things with a second thought, fourth, fifth, seventh, sixth, seventh look, right? You don't just want to take it in and then just begin to internalize it and incorporate it into your own situation. Lots of that, practical and, contextual usage is super important. Whilst rules are there to guide, operations at a certain level, it's also important not to be bound by rules, because somebody had put under the comment in that same video that Can't people can't loving just be easy? Like all these, don't do this. There's boy code, there's girl code, and things like that. We start talking today, and then we're talking for hours, and then someone tells you, oh, you just met him today, and you're talking for hours, or you just met her today, and you're already talking for hours, and all of these things. I think it's very contextual. You want to be able to understand the kind of people you bring into your space, or the kind of people that qualifies for, your premium time, so to speak. And the idea that, okay, it seems like there is a process flow for talking stage. Oh, you meet her today, the first you want to do, just greet good morning. Don't add, how are you? All these things. And when you add how are you, if she says, oh, I'm fine, don't say this. Now say this. Now if she does this, do that, and things like that, right? And I had once met someone that we just got talking. I think we bonded really well. Like we met today, the next day we're already seeing movies. Like it shouldn't be hard. Once you have a certain level of clarity, it shouldn't be hard. Now it is when that clarity is lacking that people just subject themselves to a lot of rule-keeping system. I think Pastor Kojo said something. I totally agree with that. I know some mental health therapists will not agree. It was of the opinion that, and he believes he's correct, right? That when you break up today, he left me. Leave all of that. Your healing will come from finding the next, right guy, right? Not by crying and soaking your pillows with tears and things like that, right? While that is, has some context in it. But, you see a lot of people, when you break up, you have to heal, just give yourself like, let's just give yourself 3 months, 3 to 6 months for healing. Like who made all this healing? You can heal in 1 week. And at times the healing, just to buttress or accentuate what Pastor Kojo was talking about, the healing you might need might just come from the next person that it's almost going to look like, where have you been all my life? So find that next person, right? And the person just becomes like the opposite of the shege, so to speak, you saw with the previous person. Do you understand? So I think we have to also be very careful with rule-keeping systems in relationship matters. Why there are principles, you don't want to throw yourself at any man or woman or something. You want to understand your values, his values. You want to see that you're pretty much aligned. Some people tell you things like, I'm not just ready to get married, and I'm going to even talk about that later. When I find the right person. Now they find the right person and they are stalling. They are saying, you can't just So they say, I'm ready to get married, right? But I've not seen the right person. And when the similar right person comes along, and they know that this person is, we've got something going and it's deep. And the next thing is, you have to give it like 6 months. You have to watch and observe. The truth is, Auntie, Honko, you can never have enough time to observe. I believe strongly that people have their priorities misplaced, right? People have their priorities misplaced. So there's a lot of misplaced priority as in what I should look out for at the that defines who qualifies for a space for my relationship that leads to marriage, right? So people have that list messed up, and it's really affecting them with making a decision. So, but we're going to talk about that probably in another conversation. But this conversation really is about, you've got to be careful with all of these rules. 300 ways to keep a man, 100 ways, to finding the right man, 25 things you must do when you are waiting for the right woman. Those things are important to teach them because a majority of people are confused. That's why I said earlier that there is a majority. Now there is a minority. And if you take all of these rules, hook, line, and sinker, you might mess things up for yourself. Now you might meet a certain woman that is amazing, that, it looks like this is the person, you agree on, of course, my three levels, my three, how do I put it now? The three key things I check out for, is beliefs. We've got to be aligned in terms of our beliefs. That's me personally, so I'm putting out there before I even accept to date anyone. Beliefs, right? Compatibility, right? Compatibility, so beliefs and values, right? Character and then compatibility, right? Beliefs and values, beliefs and core values, character and then compatibility, right? So that compatibility now talks about, are we compatible in terms of maybe our vision, in terms of maybe intellectual compatibility? Do we even like ourselves, like physically? Are we attracted to each other? All of those kind of things. But that's the final check. Like the first check is like beliefs, because everything begins with your belief system. And if your belief system is in the same frequency as my belief system, we're not even going to go down deep into like the character test and of course the compatibility test. So it's very important that we go back to really adjust your list. If you're watching this right now, very super important. Do not just subject yourself to some, rule keeping system and you miss out on a great person because you are ticking some rules. Oh, they told us that once you meet him, 90 days, day 1 to day 25, do this. Day 26 to day 45, when he calls, don't pick too early. Don't pick too early. Pick after 2 hours. Then at some point, if you're free, just tell him you're busy. Why? Right? You could end up missing the right person. And when it feels like your heart is racing too fast and you feel like you're moving too fast, communication is important. Talk to the other person. Hey, I think we're moving fast. Can we calm down? Can we catch our breath? It might be about you, it might not be about them. So you go back to them, communicate. Don't just ghost on them. Don't just, stop what you were doing before because you just feel like, I'm moving too fast. I need to calm down. You need to tell him too that, I want to calm down, so that there is an agreement that, okay, if he likes you or she likes you, they will understand why you're doing that. And that's kindness, because you can't be self-centered, right? Love is about giving yourself, right? It's about putting the other person first. You've got to put the other person first. That's what love is about. And it's super important, to think about all of this. So the summary of my conversation today is that let's tune down on these rules. 300 ways to finding the right person. 100 things you must do when you just met him or her. 25 ways to getting the mother-in-law to look. Let's leave all of those things, right? They are important for a majority. But once you begin to get deeper, you contextualize. Does this apply to me right now? So that you don't miss that incredible woman that the universe or God has sent to your way. Or you don't miss that incredible man that, God has sent your way. Super important. Thank you so much. I believe you got value with this conversation. If you think you did, I am not forcing you to share, but if you think and you believe that you got value from this conversation, please do share, right? It is at Victor Onyeka, youtube.com/@VictorOnyeka. You can share my YouTube channel link, or you can just share the link to this video and then ask them to subscribe. I'm counting on you to bring 5 people, so that those 5 people will bring another 5 people. And before you know it, we start cashing out. Thank you, love, hugs, and chapati. Bye-bye.